Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, September 1, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Now is the moment of power. Now is where enlightenment is discovered. It's not discovered anywhere else, only the now. For physically, you are forever forced to exist in this present moment. Your present awareness is always being generated from this present moment. Know this deeply. Live and breathe within this knowing. Now, if you want your life to be smoother, fuller, and more in touch with utter bliss, get in touch with your eternal essence. Let go of any limiting thoughts that you have and drop into the knowingness that you are an infinite soul who will never die. Now, if you crave for some secure life that is easy and light, give that experience to yourself on the inner world within first. Find out how to soothe yourself emotionally, giving deep, robust, tingling sensations to every corner of your body, mind, and spirit. This great experience of divinity is always available and ready to take you into the higher dimensions. Your greatest life is ready for you here, now. So open yourself up and welcome it in. This is when I say, open your heart and let the magic flow in. You will find the infinite within the finite. Trust the process. Breathe it in. And enjoy every breath you are given. One of the simplest explanations or definitions of meditation from Siddhartha or Buddha, the Enlightened One, meditation is a listening with a receptive heart. We all live in a highly diverse, intelligent system which contains various degrees of truth. And so not every truth will impact us the exact same way. The bigger a truth is, the more it will expand our reality. And the smaller a truth is, the more it will shrink and contract our experience of this life. Now, the good news is that none of us have to decide what is a big truth and what is a small truth. Our physical bodies will let us know, for our heart is the best guide for seeing how expansive or contracted a truth is. Whenever we discover a larger, more profound truth in this life, a little miracle happens. Everything that was once felt hard, heavy, and stuck inside us suddenly becomes exalted and liberated. We feel lighter than air and are filled with a natural, spontaneous joy inside, which flows as freely as the wind. The mind stops thinking, and we experience our own source of consciousness. From here, we see life from a much more expanded perspective. And it can happen within milliseconds. This is something you may want to contemplate during the quiet time of this meditation, is that that which is real cannot be threatened. And that which is unreal does not exist. So what is unreal? Now, to many, this becomes very confusing because the mind is too small of a vessel to comprehend it. That which is real cannot be threatened, and that which is unreal does not exist. Now, we do know that the God within us, the pure consciousness, has many names for it, is the only thing that's real. And how do we know that's the case? Because that which is real never changes. All of us in these bodies are divine perfection. So one might ask, well then, what's the sense of all this? If we're divine perfection, where do we go from there? And if we're the only thing that's real, then what do we do? If everything else is unreal. We go to the gods that we are in divine perfection, we experience, we create our experiences. Everything, we create it all. And through the experience, we go to more higher levels of divine perfection. Now, in order for us to experience, grow, expand, and that divine perfection as gods, we create things. And because in this now moment, all of us on this planet aren't aware of that. We're, in the material physical world, we look at everything around us as real. Touch it, feel it, interact with it, express emotions with it, but that's the body. That is not the God that we are. They are in many ways very different. Now, doesn't it make sense that we create these bodies as a collective consciousness so that we can experience, touch, feel, cry, laugh, love, hate, all of it. So why is that? Why do we do that? Why do we create these things? So we can achieve more divine perfection. Well, one might say, well, does it ever end? Do we eventually go home? Home is the God that you are within that body. That's home. You can live anywhere on the planet or any other planet. You're always home because the God within you is your home. There isn't any other home. Now, in the material physical world, sure, you might have a place and stay there for your whole life. And in the material physical world, one might ask, well, and you say, this is my home. This is where I live. But in the real reality, the God that you are, you're the home. Always has been, always will be, ever, beyond, and forever. This may seem like a separation. And once we comprehend the fact that, okay, I'm in this body, and I create my life. I create the ins and outs, I manifest them. And since we are not in tune with the gods that we are, many of us believe that that's not possible, that there's another greater power outside of us that's doing this, that's doing it. And there's nothing wrong with that. We've believed that way and been programmed that way for tens of thousands of years. But there does come a time where some of us begin to wake up. And there's others that believe they've woken up, but they're still in what we call the matrix. It's tricky. It's very tricky. And there's those that believe that they're awake, and they are in some respect, but they're still in the matrix. What's the matrix? That which is unreal. What is the God, the pure consciousness? That is the only thing that is real. So does it make sense that we create this kind of playground? Create universes, celestial bodies, and we experience them. And as we experience them, and I'm sure all of you know that we've had many, many lifetimes. One might say, well, I don't remember any of my lifetimes. Here's a question to ask yourself through the heart-mind. If you could go into a nice, comfortable room, only you, no one else, specifically designed for you, and you have, whatever comfort chair, whatever it is that you enjoy, and you sit there and you just relax into the body. And in front of you is this, it's a massive, it looks like a screen, right? And it comes on, and it's your life. This life. And what if you could say, I would like to go in reverse. I would like to review my entire life from now, in this present moment, all the way back to when you entered the baby body. But you're watching this. No one else is, just you. It's your life. And you're looking at all these things that, and watching you, okay, expand through life. Childhood, interactions, traumas, everything. I mean, super finite, super detailed. And you're relaxed in the body and you are observing this, your life, and the very now. How do you believe you would react to, respond to? Would you be judgmental about things of yourself? Or would you be loving, accepting, and caring of things of yourself? It's quite interesting to pose that to ourselves. And what's the purpose of this? We begin to realize just how magnificently special this life is. You see, when we're immersed into this material physical world, holographic generated imaging, and we don't have anything else to interface with or compare with. So we're just starting from scratch, right? But yet then you start to have the opportunity and the ability to review your life from an observer standpoint. Being gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself through this whole viewing, no matter what you did or didn't do. Then you begin to realize through the heart-mind, comprehend how phenomenal everything has been. Even the stuff that at the time to you was not great at all. Then you move deeper from your observation and you begin to realize through awareness that you created this specifically for you. And that perspective changes everything. And then you look at things and say, okay, so why did I create this part for myself? What did I learn? At the time, you may not at all have observed it as something that you've learned. more so in the material physical world, that it was disturbing, upsetting, right? But now you have a chance to look at it from a whole different observation, and not from a judgment perspective at all, but from a loving, caring, gentle, kind, and generous perspective, in deep gratitude. Now imagine this is what's happening with some of us on this planet. Well, I would say all of us, but at different stages. And we're beginning to realize that we're omnipotently powerful supreme beings that never die. And that's not the body, okay? The body is our vessel that we're fortunate enough to enter and to be able to experience the material physical life. We have a comparison. You will eventually, the deeper you go within, to your cosmic consciousness, your pure consciousness, the God, you'll begin to realize that this is very enjoyable. When you know something's temporary, in anything in this life, and you comprehend certain things, you say, well, I know this won't last forever, but I'm going to enjoy it while it's here, instead of fighting and tug-of-warring it and arguing with it. Now, if you take someone who's never had the experience of being wronged or hurt emotionally, broken, disappointing marriages, losing a loved one, leaving the body, and you were just this pure, clean God consciousness, your observation would be entirely different. You would watch people who would be arguing or something. You wouldn't understand why they would be arguing, because you're love at that point. So it wouldn't register with you. You would look at that and not understand it, not comprehend it. Like, what are they doing? Why is there such an interference in their frequencies? Why are they so confrontational? Because you don't know what anger is at all. You have no idea what anger is. But you imagine observing it with a couple of people and never knowing what it was because you'd never experienced it. It was quite interesting. So what we do is that we create a life and we design it, all the good, all the bad, all the not so good. And the only reason we do that is to experience certain things. Now, not every one of us design our lives, create our lives, specifically geared to us, you, not 20,000, but just you. And every one of us, it's different. It may seem similar on the surface, but your response to it is different than the next being next to you. Only for you. It's tailored for you. Now when you realize that, okay, so I'm experiencing this, yeah, but this is all temporary, yes, and it's not real. Not real. When we're in these bodies, and we have to create things around us that with the bodies, right? They feel real, they taste real, they smell real, they love real, the whole 9 yards. We have to have that. Or we wouldn't learn, wouldn't experience. We wouldn't reach different levels of divine perfection. We just wouldn't. But see, what's happened is it's been immersed, meshed together, as if everything is real. And we are the body. That's how we've been programmed to believe, that we're the body. This is why so many of us have that fear when we start realizing that we're going to leave the body. Because we don't know what's next. You ever ask yourself that? Or, maybe you've witnessed somebody that's been your loved one you've been with before they left the body, and they say, what's next? Where do I go from here? What happens when I leave the body? Oh, sure, and we've got the movies and, all the depictions and everything. But for you, what's going to happen? You don't know. It's a complete unknown. So you have a choice. You're going to embrace the unknown because it's basically a new adventure. And you're going to leave the body. And if, when you're in the body, you have learned that you're everlasting, that you're not the body, and that you're going to leave the body, it's no big deal. It isn't any big deal. Nothing. It's not at all. But we get attached, see, the word attachment. We get attached to things in the physical world. People, objects. We form a relationship with those things. To the extent, some of us, most of us, where we find it very, very difficult to let go of that. And that's what creates our fear. And as we know, fear is just a thought until we give it more. Then it becomes more. Imagine that you evolve to the comprehension of that you know that you're in that body temporarily and that you live the material physical life to the fullest. You enjoy it for you. Okay? It really, see, it doesn't matter what everybody else is doing or living. It only matters what you are doing and living. And as you go deeper within, that stuff, like worried about what other people think, worried about being accepted, worried about being loved, all of those things, they don't really have any impact, but you appreciate them and you're grateful for them because you're experiencing. Then through these meditations, you begin to you also realize how powerful the now is. As I've shared through the years, we know what being in yesterday and tomorrow is. Most of us are there most of the time. What does that exactly mean? You wake up in the morning, you're thinking about tomorrow. Before your now has even started, you're thinking about tomorrow. Or even further into the future. Or maybe you're going into the past. But all those things, we all suffer. We suffer emotionally. We get irritated. We get upset. We get worried. We become fearful. Geez, what if this happens in a month? Or, what if this doesn't happen? And it isn't our natural state of being. This is why for so many, it is so difficult to live this life. in ease and admiration and respect and deep gratitude. Yeah, we all know the challenges, the things that we've set before us that we have moved through. I can guarantee you that all of us can tell a story about a time that we had experienced in this life and what it meant to you, how you responded to it. Are you still carrying it with you? And if you are still carrying it with you, why are you? The past is past. It's over. It doesn't exist anymore. And future hasn't even arrived. Does it make any sense for us to spend all of our time in yesterday and tomorrow? No, it doesn't. What does it do? It keeps us from becoming aware. And the only time we become aware is in the now. And it's really simple. There's a lot of people on this planet that they don't understand. They don't comprehend. And it isn't negative. Meditation is a listening with a receptive heart. And the only place you do that is in the now. We don't do it any other place. Oh, many have gone off and fabricated things that they thought maybe this is a better way. And they'll come to realization that the now is the only way to exist in these bodies. Why would we live in yesterday and tomorrow, all of us, when after a while you get the gist of it. You know that if you live in yesterday and tomorrow, you're going to suffer. So if you know that, why would you stay there? Well, it is habit. Thousands and thousands of years of habit. But then you start to make concerted efforts on your own because you want to. You chose to see it. That's how this happens on this planet. We choose to do these things. And maybe for some of us it may be fearful, unsettling, because it's a whole new ball game. But we want to do it. So this is why we meditate. It's for us to practice being in the now. Now we participate, all of us do, in different ways. We participate in yesterday and tomorrow. Material, physical world. Fun. A lot of times we have fun with it. And we've been framed, so to speak, right? You know, picture frame. And you put matting down a picture, and then you put the glass in the frame, right? It's all locked in there. And that's how this civilization's been living, like in a picture frame. And there's no way to get out. You're in that picture, sealed in there. Now, let's say that you have a place, and there's a group of us in this place, roof, no windows, walls, right? And it's like a box. And we're all sitting there. There's a door. Now, we've been in that box since as far as we can remember. 4 corners. And our lives have been in that box. Then, some of us begin to start getting curious. We start staring at that door. Now, we have no idea what's outside that door. Remember, there's no windows, You have all you know is that you're in that place. And you have been in that place your whole life. But you start getting curious, that childlike curiosity starts surfacing, and you keep looking at that door. And then, of course, ego mind comes in and says to you, you don't care to go out that door. You could die outside that door. There could be monsters, all kinds of things out there. You don't have any idea what's out there. Why are you looking at that door? Just stay here. It's safe. Right? But see, then we begin to comprehend and become aware of the fact that all the possibilities are in the unknown. But what do most of us do? We stay in that box. Yeah, there's times where we're tugged a little because of curiosity, but we still stay in that box. Why? Because of fear of the unknown, because we have no idea. Not even an inkling. And then you find yourself talking with yourself saying, you know what? This is going to be fun. I have no idea, no clue to what I'm going to find out there. But I'm going to open the door, and I'm going to go out there. And that's what some of us are doing on this planet. And you open that door, and of course you've got no reference, right, except your ego mind, right? Imagination, that you start manifesting things before you go out that door. See? So you say to yourself, I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to experience whatever I can experience. And you're going to take a leap of faith with yourself. Now, you haven't been trained in that. You have no knowledge of any of that. But you do know through your heart mind that that door is there for you to go through. Why else would it be there since you've been in that place for so long? And how do you know you didn't manifest that door? This is our spiritual evolution. The door is our pure consciousness, the God. The place we're in is our ego mind. And it's every one of us will determine the time, and I can guarantee you, eventually, we will all walk through that door. And whatever is out there, since you've been practicing being in the heart mind, in the now, is out there. But when you know that you're creating whatever's out there, that gives you a whole different perspective, doesn't it? You know it's coming from you. Now, you don't necessarily know what it is, right? But you know that you created it. When you do go out that door, you're looking at things and observing things from the realization that you manifested them, you created them. And whatever so-called frame of mind you were in at the time is what you're going to experience out there. Now, if you're saying, I'm going to go out there, it's going to be absolutely magnificent. It doesn't matter if it's bumpy or good or bad or indifferent. I'm going to experience, and I created those experiences that I'm going to have. So you're no longer looking from the inside out, but you're looking from the outside in. And I mean from the material physical world. You've heard me give the analogy that all of us for tens of thousands and millions of years, in different civilizations on this planet, we gods have inhabited many different forms. Many, many. So doesn't it make sense that our next decided step is into higher frequency? For loving ourselves deeply and eternally, forgiving ourselves from all the, whatever we believe, I screwed up here, I've done some really crappy things, and you don't care to carry that with you. Because you know why? It skews things because of its low frequency. It skews them in the now, right in this moment. It's what you're carrying. If you've ever been like on an air, in a rush and you're late and whatever, and you're in the airport, you got some heavy bags and stuff, and you're going as fast as you can to get to the gate because the directions were wrong or something screwed up, and so you got to go from one end of the terminal all the way to the other end, and you don't have much time to do it. You're frantic and you're worried and you're stressing. Whoa, geez, what happened? I missed the plane. And then you get there, and the hostess or flight attendant at the gate said, "We've been waiting for you. Plane hasn't taken off. Welcome aboard." So all that hurrying and stressing and fearing and running is the ego mind. One time I was in Switzerland, and this was quite a few years ago, and I was supposed to meet some banking executives. And I was also supposed to meet these people that wanted to, fund our project. And this was at the old Picasso estate in France, way up in the mountains where I was at that time. It was way up in the mountains. So we get off the plane, there's a guy there with a sign with my name on it. And so we drive up, and he's telling me all the stuff that's going on with these people at the Picasso estate. And so I had no idea. I was invited. The gentleman was very friendly. We had several conversations. He seemed very heart-minded. So I said, what the heck? So I get there. The electric gate opens, and we go up into the mountains, and there's the Picasso estate. So the gentleman leads me in to one of the rooms, and there's a patio with French doors, and it's open, and it looked like they had a meeting, and most of them obviously had too much wine, and they were kind of finishing it up, but a couple stragglers were hanging around. But the gentleman that invited me was nowhere to be seen. Didn't greet me, didn't appear anywhere. So his partner comes in, Hans. He comes up and he's kind of sheepishly said, "Are you so-and-so?" And I said, "Yes." And I said, where's the guy that invited me here? Well, he had too much to drink, so we had to put him to bed. Now, mind you, this is early afternoon. I'm sitting there, I'm going, what? This guy invites me. I'm in the United States. I fly all the way out here, and this guy doesn't show up. He passed out. I had to put him to bed. Now, I didn't see him till later that night. And he was still hungover when I met him. Now, I could have turned that into a complete nightmare. Right? But I didn't. So I made my presentation to this group of allegedly businessmen. that evidently, allegedly had deep pockets, and later I found out they didn't. They wanted me to give them a couple of projects. And I could feel them like they were behind me. You ever done that? When you're talking with somebody, you're looking at somebody, and then behind you, you feel that frequency energy where they're motioning to each other. Yeah. So anyway, it wasn't a total wash because I learned a lot. That's how I looked at it. I had learned a lot about that type of a situation. You know, it was like these people were somewhere else. They weren't on the page of saving anything on this planet. They were on the page of making lots of money. But just that's their prerogative. So then now he had invited me to the Picasso estate. He owned it, and they were having a lot of financial difficulties because the driver, he told me all kinds of stuff. And he said, I want you to stay here. You know, we got a room, got one of the bedrooms. And I said, well, that's great. That didn't happen. They took my bags to a hotel. So, you know, you would assume, right? It figures you're invited and, you know, staying there. But there was no room there. There were too many people sleeping there. Because they were all drunk and hungover, and so they slept there. So I was shuttled off to this hotel. Nice, you know, nice room and everything. So I just went into the jacuzzi and just, you know, vegged out. And then I find out that I had this huge bill in the hotel room. They didn't even pay for that. It was on my ticket. I had no clue. So then I was supposed to have some money routed to pay my way back where I would be when I went to Switzerland over the Italian border along the French Riviera. So I'm on this. So one of my attorneys at that time says to me, you ought to take the scenic route, the train along the French Riviera, along the coastline of Europe. It's very nice. She said, I've been reading about it. So I said, oh, well, okay. Instead of taking a flight, because it was a lot cheaper. So then I get on this train, and first the computer systems dropped down at the train station. And I was dragging all these bags up cement steps and everything, going underground, and some of the police were laughing, and I said, you know, but I got there. You know, I got to Switzerland at about 2 a.m. And then my terminal in the train terminal, the train I was supposed to take when I got there to go to Switzerland was all the way at the other end of the station, about a football field. And the train that I was on was late. So this professor that I had met on the train from Germany, who had I don't remember the name of those dogs. Funny looking dog. Bad breath too. I almost passed out with that dog's breath. But he said, you got to go. You got to get, you know, your train's way down there. So I just took off running with these bags and got to the train. There was 2 people on the train. So I did get in to Switzerland at about 2 a.m. And I basically took like a 2-hour shower and slept like till about 5 or 6 that afternoon. And we had to figure out a way to get my tickets to fly back to the States, because I did not know I was going to be spending $1,500 for 2 nights and a hotel room. So anyway, all of that stuff, the purpose of me sharing that with you is I could have really had a really horrible time. It could have been frightening for me, very depressing. At times, when I was in the hotel on Lake Lugano in Switzerland, I was sitting there going, man, maybe I'll just have to wing it here in Lugano and find a job. I'm not kidding you. That's what I said. And I said, I'm okay with that, But all in all, it all worked out. I got back to the States. I had one heck of an experience. The trip along the Riviera was great. Just looking at the ocean, all these different stations in Europe that you go through in the train. So to make a long story short, I learned a whole bunch of things. And had I not taken that trip and those things had not happened, I wouldn't have learned that. And it helped me, a lot of it helped me as I progressed on this journey on this planet to get to the point where we're at now with these technologies for humanity. So it's like you look at things, and like I said, when you view your life from a observance point of view through your heart mind, it's much different. You look at things much differently because you're not judging you, you're not hard on you. It's in a loving way. So in the quietness of this meditation, if you're in the now, you won't have fear to do it. Okay? This isn't reminiscing. All right? This is looking through it through your heart mind. And I bet you're going to be really surprised. I will say pleasantly surprised. I'll join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose, and an easy breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Focus on your breath rising and falling. Relax into your body. Just notice this. You're either focusing on what you want or what you don't want. It's always either one or the other. Now ask yourself this. Are you aware of this? You're appreciating what you have or wishing you had something else. Which world has your mind been entertaining lately? There's nothing wrong with playing around with focusing on what you don't want. Just get to experience more. You just get to experience more of what you don't want. Lack is a deeply juicy experience for sure. Yet, it's not the total complete truth of who we are. No matter what heaven or hell, your mind is lost in. Your soul is always at one with the divine. So smile. You really are amazing. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We'll return here Monday, September 2nd, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on inside you or outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.